Now, welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And now let's get right to the news.
Okay. So, we'll start out with more Kenobi stuff, because I know we like to talk about Kenobi. Ewan McGregor is open to returning as Obi-Wan. In his interview with Total Film, he was asked if he'd be open to once again returning to play Kenobes. He replied, "If we were to get an opportunity to do it again, I'd totally be up for that. Here I go again. It's like me knocking at Disney's door again." This is stirring thoughts of where he could turn up. Could he possibly pop up in Ahsoka in a flashback, or is season 2 maybe something that they've been whispering about behind the scenes? I'm just hoping for a new trailer as my May the 4th Disney gift.
Well, I think the show is going to be huge, and the temptation will be there to do a sequel to it, right? I would imagine this will be bigger than The Mandalorian, bigger than the Book of Boba Fett. This might be the biggest show on Disney Plus
It very well
history.
could be.
Probably will be, actually. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. So, of course, the temptation is going to be there to duplicate that and get subscriptions and.
Absolutely, it will.
As for where else he could appear, certainly could be in the Ahsoka series. If we have Hayden in there, how cool would it be? Because we know they're going to do, with the second duel here, or the mid-duel, whatever we want to call it, between Kenobi and Vader, they're going to try to, show these two. I don't know what it's going to be exactly, but a lot of people seem to think, Kenobi is going to try to appeal to Anakin, and he's going to fail, and that's going to be the point where he realizes, there's no saving Anakin, even though I would argue that happened in Revenge of the Sith, that he killed younglings, he choked Padme. Obi-Wan has a pretty good idea that his friend, his brother is dead and gone. Anyway, it could be interesting in Ahsoka to see that's kind of what we were hoping to see in the sequel trilogy, I thought. The Force Ghost, at least just one scene of, Anakin talking to Luke, Anakin and Obi-Wan together, maybe chatting like they used to. It could be really cool to see. And I understand a lot of people don't want maybe Ewan McGregor's Force Ghost to be, replacing, Alec Guinness. And then we also have, Hayden replacing Sebastian Shaw. So I understand there's controversy. No, I think it would be really cool to see, Anakin played by Hayden and Obi-Wan played by Ewan as Force Ghosts together. And just, even if it's a small, short little scene, I think that could be really cool. And that's where I would like to see, Ewan play Obi-Wan again. I don't know about that second season of Kenobi, or third or fourth or whatever.
At least we have reassurance that, Deborah Chow said over and over again, and even Kathleen Kennedy said they didn't want to, if there's not a story there, they're not going to just tell a story for story's sake.
Well, which is what I always say, which is one of the problems they've had with it. I think the Book of Boba Fett is an example of you really wanted to tell a story with Boba Fett because he's such a popular character, but I don't really know that you had a story that was really worthy of a story. It felt like you had an idea for a story, and I liked a lot of the stuff with the Tuskens, but then when we came to everything after that, it kind of fell flat.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if this series is really good, which I certainly hope it is, and you have an idea for Kenobi again, I guess.
Yeah, then by all means, we'll watch, we'll listen.
Yeah, but if you don't have a story, if you're just like, wow, this was so successful, and you got the Disney execs are like, look at the numbers and look at the subscriptions, you guys got to make another one. That's where problems come in, right?
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to our second story. This one is a minor spoiler for Kenobi.
Ooh.
Minor.
Kenobi will be in it.
How did you know? All right. Kenobi to introduce the next cute character.
Oh boy. Okay.
It's honestly like they can't expect a show to do well on its own unless they throw some cute thing in to steal the spotlight. But we'll talk about that afterwards, I'm sure. So a month ago we talked about how Forlorn was going to appear in Kenobi, and now we're...
Well, that's a spoiler alert. Oh, I suppose we already spoiled.
I did already say that.
My bad. Continue on.
That Kenobi was going to have Forlorn in it, and now we've learned that a completely new character that's going to win over its fans with
baby Forlorn.
With its cuteness.
I got it. He's already kind of got a little cute vibe, right?
I don't even know.
Cute little insect face.
No. So an older story told us young Leia is going to be in the show and Kenobi's going to be tasked with rescuing her, blah, 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 blah. So the new addition is that Leia has her own flying droid companion designed to protect her.
Oh my goodness, okay.
Well, think of it. There was a comic story, I believe, where Leia, around 9 years old, ended up lost in the woods for a week or something. So maybe now as a response to that, they got her a droid companion for protection, for safety's sake.
Sure. For toy sales, yes.
Well, and another thing is, it's like instead of giving a 10-year-old a blaster to protect herself as she is a child,
I don't know.
like,
In Star Wars, that seems pretty commonplace.
Let's do a droid. It's supposed to look like a little drone, kind of like if anyone's seen the batteries not included. It's an old project that Kennedy worked on. That's the image we're putting up on the screen as our comparison because the description sounds similar to it, which is fine. It is kind of cute. They want fans to kind of fall in love with it in the way that we love BD-1, Dio, BB-8, Babu Frick. Cute little beep-beep droid flying around.
How did that go? Beep-beep?
Beep-beep. Protecting her, which apparently didn't do a very good job because she's going to get kidnapped.
Yeah, and Kenobi's going to have to come and...
Kenobi's going to be hanging out with the droid or something, and it's going to be adorable.
Yeah, I can hardly wait.
Yep. I mean, I'm okay with the concept. I'm just sick of them constantly putting in a cute thing. Like, they don't expect female fans will like it without it.
Or kids.
But how many... Kids. But sometimes Star Wars is a bit young for the level of thing they put in there for children. I mean, how many little kids were playing Fallen Order that were like, oh, I love BD-1?
Probably more than you'd think, but I get what you're saying.
I feel like the game's complexities made it a little older audience seeking.
Well, probably. And plus, I don't know that Star Wars and kids, I don't know how, it's like, oh, I have to play the new Star Wars. I don't know if it's... I just read an article the other day how, the younger generation kind of has a propensity to not even like things that are popular. That's kind of their thing. They kind of
like their own thing.
They kind of like, if something becomes popular, it becomes unpopular to them. So I do wonder, not to go into that topic, but I mean, I do wonder how much that affects things like Star Wars and Marvel. How much they just don't want to like it and won't play it. And anyway.
It's because they have to carve out their own.
Yeah, well, I mean, all generations have that rebellious phase, but I think theirs is kind of so different because, again, I don't want to get into the topic, but, they have so much thrown at them all the time, whereas, when we were young, it wasn't like that. Not in the same way, anyway. I mean, we didn't have the internet at our fingertips. We had, Saturday morning cartoons is where they tried to brainwash us kids, or after-school cartoons, but... Anyway, whole other topic. My point is, I don't really care about the cutesy things in Star Wars. Like they don't bother me.
As long as it doesn't detract from the story, I don't care either.
I think and I think what you were kind of saying, it gets to a problem when it's like they feel everything needs to have its cutesy little droid, and it does feel that way.
Well,
right?
It worries me if they steal the spotlight. I mean, think of The Mandalorian. Grogu entirely stole the show.
Yeah, but Mando pulls it back. That's what's impressive about the Mandalorian to me. Is like it's like you're the first episode is good. You're interested in Mando, sure, but it's like, oh my god, it's a baby Yoda, and it immediately steals the thunder. But it doesn't. Mando manages to hold his own and actually become more interesting than Grogu, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. It's funny. It's as silly as it is. It's kind of a trope they use in anime. They make this tough character who everyone's kind of afraid of. I'm going to use some language here. He's a badass. And everyone's like, oh no, he's a badass. And then they pair him with some cute thing. Either a young sibling who's adorable and dotes on them and loves them and it makes them soft and likable, or something of that nature. It's kind of a trope, and it's almost weird to me to see them bringing that over.
I know the trope you're talking about. I watch plenty of anime with you, so I see it all the time. They always have to have the cutesy attached to the, as you call it, badass or hard ass, or the brooding character.
Something that makes them soft to,
yes.
Even though you normally wouldn't get past that hard exterior.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't have a problem with it. It just feels like every time they create something now, they feel that need to put the cute character, the cute thing in it. Which, again, doesn't bother me, but it's like, you don't need to do it always. Is it just to appeal to the kids, or do they feel like it's needed somehow for the story? I don't know.
Exactly. All right, well, let's move on to our last story today. Charles Soule promoted to creative consultant at Lucasfilm. Now, for those who don't know, Soule wrote multiple Star Wars comics and is one of the chief architects of the High Republic storytelling, which High Republic has gone over pretty well with fans.
No, that there's debate. Some people who don't like it, some people do. But I mean, for the most part, I think from people who have read it, I've heard a lot of positive things.
All right.
I'll say that.
And now he's been promoted. So this info actually cut out because an Eagle Eye fan saw a Star Wars Celebration panel listing that kind of hinted at him consulting on this project. And they're like, well, what was he consulting? So then Soule let them know that this was a thing that happened and he is promoted. maybe not such a coincidence. Think about it. The Acolyte is High Republic. And it sounds like he could definitely help out there with all his knowledge of that specific era.
Certainly. He's done the Vader comics. I think he's doing the Star Wars main comics right now.
Yes. He's doing a big anniversary issue, I think.
Yeah, so he's done quite a bit in the new canon stuff lately. And a lot of his stuff I've really enjoyed. Like the Vader comics, the second volume of the Vader comics was really good. So I'm not upset about this at all. I think that's what you need. You need people who really understand Star Wars. And
exactly.
that's what I always say. Bring the people in who get it and let them kind of steer the ship, and you're going to be okay. So this is good news in my book.
I agree. Very good news. And anything else for today?
I don't think so.
All right, I'll just let everybody know also, we are planning on working on a video going over some of the Star Wars panels. That'll come up either today or tomorrow. We'll see how much time.
Or Saturday, yeah. Might be Saturday because we never do videos on Saturday, so.
We'll see, but it is coming. It is in the works, so
yeah, just
keep an
gonna
eye
go
out.
down the whole roster and for the fun of it, and because we are gonna try to cover that thing like.
Not the whole roster, just the big panels. If the
Well,
whole
no,
roster,
we're not
this
gonna
would
do.
be like a
Well, no,
2-hour
there's a
video.
lot of mini panels that.
Mini panels.
No, we'll try to cover that thing pretty. We might, like I said, we might shift to the main channel for that.
So just keep your eye on notifications, and you'll see what Thor has to say about the panels coming up at Star Wars Celebration.
Are you asking them to turn on their notifications?
I would never stoop so low as to ask people who enjoy our content to possibly be notified.
Subscribe and notify
of
and
content that
ring the
could be
bell
coming.
and smash. Well, we do the smash. So you do have that.
I
little
do. I
thing
have
at
that
the
little
end.
animation that kind of covers it for us. So
I think so. You don't need to.
and
Throw
it's
it
at
in
the
face
end
all
because
the
I don't
time.
want it to be obnoxious.
I know. If you make it to the end of the video, I think that's when you can ask people to.
I made
like
that
and
animation,
subscribe.
by the way.
You did. You
I
did really well.
hand drew, customized, did the whole thing myself. It was my first ever animation.
Yeah.
I was excited.
You should do more.
Yeah,
The fans expect it.
time.
They demand it.
Time is always an issue.
Time is always an issue. But anyway, we're rambling about nothing. So take to the comments below. Tell us what you think about this news. Keep an eye out for that celebration video where we discuss all the panels. So let's talk some Star Wars. Until next time, thanks for watching.